Okay, big week in Congress. Here to talk about it now is Republican Congressman, Majority House Whip Tom Emmer. Thanks for making some time for us. It's been a busy week on Capitol Hill.
Yeah, is it only Friday?
Yeah, it is, and I believe the deadline is Friday the 13th to get some things done. So again, major breakthrough here to fund the government this week, but there's this debate over funding for Homeland Security. Again, that deadline, less than a week here. So I guess first of all, just stepping back, what is in the Homeland Security budget? Because it covers a range of things, right?
Well, actually, the Homeland Security budget not only includes ICE, it includes Coast Guard, it includes TSA, the Border Patrol. All of those are under that umbrella.
Okay, and so what will be the tension? What's the tension here? We know the Democrats have put out this list of items that they say these are the things that we need to get done in order to negotiate this and get this through, get the funding through. What are some of the toughest sticking points, do you think, the non-starters here?
Well, I don't think there is a starter in there. The one that is actually a faux, not a serious proposal, is the one that a lot of people hear, and the first reaction is, why wouldn't you want to get a judicial warrant? Well, first you need to understand that the administrative warrant is only issued after 100% due process has been afforded to the individual who's the subject of the warrant. So all the requirements of our justice system have been met. Now, what some Democrats want is a judicial warrant on top of that one, and frankly, that's all about just mass amnesty, because you'd never get one. It'd take too long. You wouldn't be able to retrieve these people. There's one in there that Republicans and Democrats already agreed on, Amy. Body cameras. So the money that's in the Homeland Security bill that they are holding
up. Guys, if we want to put up the graphic, I think we do have the graphic of I think it's 10 things here. So yeah, if you want to kind of just go through it, but keep going on the body cams, because that is something that is apparently coming soon, if not already here.
No, it was in the bill. So what's happened is they have ordered that for Minneapolis, they're going to expend the funds and make sure that everyone has a body cam. Every federal agent has a body cam.
That was already secured. That money was already secured.
But in the bill that they're holding up, one of the things they're talking about is body cameras. We've already done that. It's in the bill. They're holding up the very reform they say they want.
Okay. When it gets back to the judicial warrant, and this is really confusing for a lot of people, I think, initially when we've been talking about this, we know that immigration attorneys told us that the messaging then to the public was that these law enforcement officers at the federal level need that judicial warrant to enter a private residence, and then DHS policy said, no, just the administrative warrant. So there's policy, and then there's what the law says. How do you kind of parse through some of that?
Hey, look, the administrative warrant is all they need. That's why 100% due process. Someone who says that there's this, there's that, they're just trying to muddle the situation, which we've had a lot of that in the last few weeks around here. At this point, literally, you've got I think they're doing the right things. Tom Homan coming in has definitely started to reduce the tension. The rhetoric seems to be coming down a little bit. Hopefully, we're going to see some announcements of the ability of federal law enforcement to get information they need, so they don't have to be sending out these large groups to not only execute on their mission, but to protect the people that are executing on the mission. I think we're making great strides, and I think the administration sending Tom Homan in was the beginning of a bunch of smart moves. And I think cooler heads are starting to prevail here in Minnesota as well.
I was going to ask you about that, because I think that's one place where Minnesotans, Americans feel like this has gotten so, people are so heavy right now. They're just, in our community, obviously, people are hurting. Families are hurting. It's dividing families. It's dividing all of us. What can you commit to do to try to unite people again and bring them back together?
Well, I think it's reducing the rhetoric by all of us. I mean, we got to remember that we disagree but that doesn't mean we dislike each other. Just because somebody doesn't agree with your point of view doesn't mean that they're your enemy. We all basically want the same things, Amy. We want to be safe and secure in our communities. We want to make sure that our kids are able to have a better opportunity for a better life than we've had. We want to make sure that if you're a law enforcement officer, if you're a first responder, if you're whatever walk of life, that when you leave your house in the morning, you will be able to come back safe and unharmed at night. We want all of that stuff, and I think we got to put that ahead of our differences. I think right now we got to remember how we got here. We got here because we have this sanctuary state policy that I know Tim doesn't want to acknowledge is there, but when you see the people they've been taking off the streets, and I totally understand, you got to look at the process that is being used, and I think there should be some adjustments there, which Tom Homan and the feds are making, with the help, by the way, of local leadership. That's what I like to see. But when you're taking off the streets murderers, rapists, drug dealers, pedophiles, literally some of these people, Amy, and you've got the information, they've had outstanding deportation orders since 2002, 2006. I think that makes us all feel safer. Now, let's get back to allowing our law enforcement to work with each other to do the mission that we all want them to do, which is not to go out trying to disrupt things, but to find bad guys and bad girls and get them out of here.
So there are a lot of people who look at all of this, and you know this, especially here in Minnesota, and they say that's, I've heard from just different local Republican politicians that constituents are saying, we wanted the worst of the worst out. This isn't what we voted for. There are, moderates who are saying that. So as we head into 2026 here in these midterms, how is the Republican Party here in Minnesota going to try to, navigate that? It's very interesting where we're at right now.
I think we're exactly where we need to be. I mean, again, we got here because we were not enforcing any of these laws. So that's what starts it all. I think as we get through this process now, what I hear when you get out of the internal core and you get away from the echo chamber that is some of the more left-wing media types, when you get out of the echo chamber, I hear from my people, we are so grateful that the feds are here doing this job. This needed to happen for a long time. Are they all happy with the methods, with the surge, as they call it? No, they've got concerns about that. But this, just like Los Angeles that we were talking about 9 to 10 months ago, this will pass, and we will be back to talking about the most important things around here, which is one, the economy. The economy is already on the rebound. I believe by next summer you're going to be realizing some serious gains. No taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime, double standard deduction. People are going to start to see and feel real money in their pockets. And then we got to get back to talking about the $9 billion allegedly in money that was fraudulently built from Minnesota taxpayers under Tim Walz's watch. Those are the things that we're going to be talking about in the coming months.
A little bit earlier, you were talking about how we can work together. It reminded me of when you were here last time, maybe it was, and we were talking during a break, and you were saying how you've known Senator Amy Klobuchar for obviously decades. You've been colleagues with her, and people would be surprised to know just how kind of tight you all are just from having life experiences in D.C. Have you talked to her since she has decided to run for governor?
I could say yes, but it was just last night when she walked past me on the plane and said hi.
Really?
We haven't talked about this. We've talked about some other things, obviously, before she made the announcement that relate directly to our state. But the governor's race, she and I haven't had that discussion yet. And I hope she, this could be a decision that she will regret making.
You think?
See. Well, look, Amy's, you're right. Amy and I get along. We're basically peers. We grew up in neighboring towns. I've known her since at least she was the Hennepin County attorney in Minneapolis, and I was a city council member out in the western suburbs. But in this case, first off, you've got a state that Tim Walz is going to leave for you that is essentially broken. All the money that's been built, how are you going to cure the fraud issue? It's going to be the #1 question. How are you going to clean all this corruption out of our state government? Second, if you look over time, Amy, her numbers from 2018's election to 2022's election, they dropped. She basically only won 3 of the counties that she won in the 2018 election, and she lost my district. She won it in 2018, and she lost the 6th congressional district of Minnesota in 2022, I think was the next one. No, 2024. So the idea, Amy's got the brand and the personality, no question. But the idea that this is an automatic, and by the way, running for this is going to be a lot different than doing the Senate job. The Senate job is about facilitating, getting things done, and making sure things happen. This job is going to be taking a position. Are you on what side or the other? And you're going to have to take positions that you know, people are going to know whether you are for something or against something, because you can't just be for everything now.
All right, we are running up against a hard out for you, so we gotta let you go. But maybe you can check back in with us here as we continue to watch the discussions over the funding bill and see how that shakes out. It'll be interesting.
Well, and I hope we get back to being Minnesotans very soon, Amy.
All right, thank you, Congressman. Appreciate you being here.